What's up, guys? My name is Jose Shorty Torres, and you're watching another episode of Inside Team Shorty, where I give the reality, the truth, and everything behind the scenes of the sport of MMA. Today's a little more of a sensitive topic, but a real topic that needs to be addressed. It's ego and pride. And I'm breaking it up into two parts: ego and pride in the fight, and ego and pride in practice. I believe the practice thing is a little more important, but we're gonna start with the fight first. Whether you're a boxer, MMA fighter, just a combat athlete in general, or an athlete overall, you know how hard your sport is and just how much damage you take physically. And sometimes you have to say no. We're all athletes, we're all competitive for that reason, because we are prideful. We are a little bit egotistical, sometimes cocky, sometimes overconfident, whatever the case may be. And it can get us in trouble a lot. And sometimes health-wise, it can really hinder our performance, let us not compete for that day, or for the story I'm talking about, end our lives. Not let us compete anymore overall. You hear the two boxers that passed away. Sadly, I don't know their names. I know one of them was Max. And I posted a video a few months back when this happened of the coach going in there, talking to him in the corner and saying, "Max, you're a warrior, you're going in there, you're doing your thing, but this guy's too good for you. You're taking too much damage right now, and I need to stop this fight. You are getting beat up, taking a lot of shots to the head. You are definitely concussed, there's no doubt about it, and I want you to be able to fight another day. Hey, that's great that you want to go out on your shield, that's awesome, but that's not what you're supposed to do. Hey, if you get knocked out, you get knocked out. It's you going out on your shield. But if you're taking all that damage all the way into that 12th round, or in MMA, the 3rd round or 5th round, whatever sport you're doing, it might end your life." And that's the implications of starting CTE, having too many concussions, or some guys like them going to sleep and not being able to wake up again because their brain gave out, or swelled up too much in their head where it had no room to breathe. And that's what happens with concussions. It just, gets bigger. Your brain inflames. It's taking too much damage, and you need to relax. The problem is they took too much damage, and their coach came in just maybe one round too late, maybe a few rounds too late, maybe literally just one strike, whether it's a punch, a kick, or whatever, too late. And, Max passed away, fought an awesome battle. The guy was a warrior, but passed away. And then a few days later, another boxer passed away. I think it's the first ever in history of two boxers passing away as professionals in the same week. And it sucks. I mean, hell, it's Apollo Creed in Rocky 4. You see him telling Rocky, "I don't want to stop the fight. I don't want to stop the fight. Don't stop the fight." But that's what your coach is for. That's what the referee is for. And sometimes if those two aren't going to come into play, that's what you are for. You need to know, I'm going past my limit, but not in a good way. Yeah, I want to get stronger. I want to be prideful. I don't want anybody to make fun of me, whatever the case may be, whatever you're thinking in your head. But if you're taking that much damage, you need to stop. Think about it, relax a little bit, and then go back in there and fight another day, and then redeem yourself compared to being too prideful, too egotistical, and doing the same thing. It's kind of like in practice, we're like, "Oh, we're just going to go nice and light," and out of nowhere, the guy catches you with a good strike. Even though it wasn't hard, you're like, "All right, man, you want to go? Let's go." And I don't know, you make it a boxing, prideful, whatever match, and now you're swinging the same thing. He might just be better than you in stand-up, but you're competing stand-up instead of doing MMA, wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu. This one I'm talking more about boxing just because it happened primarily in boxing. But people have died in MMA events, not in like super big events, but amateur events, low-level pros, and that stuff sadly happens in our sport. Boxing is a little more damaging when it comes to the brain, because that's all the shots are, is above the waist, and usually 90%, 80% of the shots, depending on what boxer you are going to the head. And Max took just too many shots, and his coach went in there and told him, like, "Hey, man, I want to stop the fight." The only problem is he stopped it too late. It's admirable for a coach to be able to stop the fight, because we don't want to see you in pain. Hell, I don't want to be in pain. And I know my coach stuff, he doesn't. My family, my friends, anyone who's emotionally around me doesn't want me to take any pain. Maybe, you never know. But I know they don't want me to die. And that's the fact I'm trying to bring up. In fights, people are prideful in MMA. They get stuck in an arm bar, and they're here. Hell, I can't even put my arm straight. But here, and they're getting crank. Ray Borg against DJ. DJ probably could have broken his arm, but he just solidified it and then started to crank back when he knew Ray Borg was going to tap, and Ray Borg swallowed his pride and went, hey man, you got it. I'm not going to get out. Okay, you won. But he didn't swallow his pride in the fact of, let his pride go out and just keep on being him, the tough man he is, and out of nowhere, snap, his arm breaks. And you hear that all the time. Frank Mir, I forgot the guy who his arm, Nogueira, he broke his arm in a Kimura because Nogueira was too prideful. He didn't want to let Frank Mir tap him out. Sadly, he didn't just tap him out, he broke his arm to where he had no choice but to end the fight. So I'm telling you, these things are crazy where those are small things. They're breaking bones, tearing ligaments, stuff like that. Accidents happen, or some things where people are prideful, get you in this position. Maybe you should tap out. Maybe it's all over. Or get mad and the fight's over and go, I wasn't done when you take in so many shots. Hell, when I fought Alex Perez, I took 107 shots. It was just me being prideful. Yeah, there were a lot of implications behind the scenes that kind of lost before I went in there, but I didn't have to take those shots. What made me take those shots? Well, my pride, my ego. I knew I could take them. Hell, I took 107 of them, but I wanted to stand there instead of just being safe and moving. Whether it's moving my head, moving away physically my whole body, or just striking back. I did none of that because I was too egotistical. I was too prideful, knowing I could take the damage, but I took too much and my body gave out. Again, right now, I'm healthy, but you see and hear me list my words a little bit. I have to over-enunciate or pronunciate, however you say that word, to show you I'm okay, but I lisp a little bit. I stutter a little bit more. I forget definitely a lot more. I might have CTE later on in my life. I might have it now. I've gotten and gone through a lot of concussions, and you never know. I could be like Freddie Roach or Muhammad Ali, have Parkinson's later on in life. Like, this stuff happens. So for you guys going in there, we put our lives on the line every single day, but when you go in there to fight, why literally do that? Yeah, freak accidents happen, million dollar baby, but you're going in there because you love this sport to have fun and to entertain people, but it's not entertaining when they see someone die. This is not the gladiator times anymore. Yeah, we're all warriors, we're all gladiators in our own way, but that's not what we want to see. We want to see a performance, we want to put on a show and admire those people who, fight through the pain. Down Cerrone against Ferguson, that's awesome, but we want to make sure you're okay. Hey, if the fight stopped early, it's just for your safety. We're making you swallow your pride so you can bring that pride out again in your next fight. But if that pride, it's going to beat you up, and sometimes it might kill you. It's rare, but I don't want to take those chances. If you are in pain in those fights, if you believe your coach is like, hey, I'm going to give you one more round, that's a warning sign. You either got to do something or you stop it yourself. And that's really what it is. Sometimes there are just going to be people better than you at that moment. That doesn't mean you can't beat them later on in life. Again, you see the trilogy matches, those rubber matches, but at that moment, it might not just be the time. Guys, sometimes in the fights, you need to swallow your pride and swallow your ego. And in the next episode, I'm going to be talking about swallowing your pride and ego in practices, because your practices, we take much more damage leading up to the fight. The fight, yeah, we might be in small gloves, and now there's no padding, there's no anything, and now we're on the crowd is there, we're nervous, we're probably not going to perform 100% like we do in practice because we're out there. And in the fight game, in a real fight, you're going to get beat up, you're going to take a lot of damage, but we take more damage in practice leading up to it than we do in the fight. There might be a lot of damage at that point, but it's not like all the pain and struggle that we have to go through leading up to it just to make it that far. And it's like 1,000 ways to die type of thing. Like, we can lead up to it, but fighting is, guys, swallow your pride sometimes. If you're getting beat up, let your coach stop it. Sometimes you have to stop it. Not saying you have to give up, but there are moments where, like, hey, I'm just not feeling well. Actually, something that comes in my mind right now is when Amanda Nunes was fighting, I think it was Raquel Pennington, I could be wrong in the name, and she's like, I just want to give up, and her coach made her go through it, and everyone watching, again, it could be wrong with the fighter, but everyone watching, including myself, was like, she just said this, she is quitting, but you as a coach are too prideful or too egotistical for your own fighter, or even for yourself, to let them go through pain and agony to keep on going. Luckily, she was okay and fought again after that, but what if she wasn't able to? How much crap would that coach, what would he have gotten? but you see Max's coach, hey, Max, I want to see you fight another day. It's a smart move. It's a safe move. Yeah, it might seem boring, or you guys might be angry after the fight because you want to see more of a show, but that's, you want to see them fight again. Put on another show. Hey, this has lasted as long as it did and didn't last as much as you wanted, but so be it. We got it done. Cool. We're gonna go again the next time. But for that coach, telling his fighter, I don't care what you say, believe in yourself. Oh, it's like, dude, she's already lost 3 rounds, or really getting torn apart, and her face looks horrible. Gotta end the fight. Guys, what do you think about ego and pride in a fight, and what topics you want to bring up, in practice? Because again, it is a huge thing. But again, this is another episode of Inside Team Shorty. If you guys want to support the foundation, teamshorty.com. All the proceeds go to my foundation, Team Shorty Foundation, to help kids, teens, young adults stay in the gym and off the streets. But guys, let me know if you have any questions, and I appreciate the love and support. We will. Together we are Team Shorty, and this was another episode.